Hello everyone, welcome to the comic review. My name is Eric, and today we're going to be looking at the continuing fight between Superman and Doomsday, with a little bit of Luthor and Clark Kent thrown in the mix. But today we're going to be looking at part 2 of the Path of Doom storyline in Action Comics number 958. That's right, we're going to be looking at part 2 of this storyline, written by Dan Jurgens and Patrick Zurcher. Overall, I will say I enjoyed this issue. You do see a lot of parallels in it with the previous Death of Superman story from 20 some odd years ago, also co-written by Jurgens at the time. But let's go ahead and get into the meat of what was going on in this issue and take a look at what happened. So I will say my main complaint about this book is that in the very opening page, we have a one-page kind of synopsis of what has been going on so far. It's not like a traditional Marvel page where you have a couple paragraphs saying, what's been going on in the storyline or what's been going on in the book, but it is just one regular page, but it covers what's been going on so far with Luthor, with getting you a real quick recap of this version of Superman, which is the pre-Flashpoint Superman. The one thing I feel like we really don't need at this point, but maybe we do if this is someone's first Superman comic book ever, is that we do get mention once again of the death of the New 52 Superman. I don't know if we're going to see that in every single issue in this storyline, at least at the beginning of the issue, but yes, once again we do have a mention of and a panel showing the death of the New 52 Superman. So starting with the next page, we do have the fight already in progress between Superman, which is the pre-Flashpoint, post-Crisis on Infinite Earths version. We also have Luthor, who is now in a new Superman-colored and styled battle suit. We also have Jimmy Olsen on the ground taking pictures, and mysteriously we have Clark Kent. I'm kind of working on my own theory as to who this Clark Kent is. I've got kind of two different weird theories, and I'm kind of thinking I'll talk about them at the end of the video, but and who knows whether or not they're going to play out. I'm probably very bad at guessing what's going on in some of these storylines, so but we'll have to wait and see how the storyline goes. So we do get quite a few pages. This book it almost has one of those like how you view Dragon Ball Z kind of things, where it's just another episode showing the exact same fight. That's all we pretty much get for the most part, is this fight. We do have some different viewpoints of Lois and Jonathan watching the fight, and Lois obviously being upset because she's lived through this before. She has seen her husband fight Doomsday, this monster that's rampaging through Metropolis right now, and she knows what the outcome of that fight was. Jonathan doesn't, her son. She is very hesitant to tell him about that. She kind of explains to him that on their world, Superman did fight Doomsday and did in fact win, but doesn't go into the other little tiny detail of the fact that this monster killed his dad. We also, during this issue, get some insights into Superman's thought process and the fact that he is kind of questioning his belief on this world's Luthor. On the pre-Flashpoint world, Luthor very much was a villain, which we do know of the Luthor in this world, that he does have some villainous tendencies, but for the most part, he has been an active member of the Justice League for the last year plus of our time, and so Superman, and there's a reason for that distinction. He's now questioning whether or not he is wrong about Luthor, and whether or not, though he may have selfish reasons for doing things, that Luthor may in fact be one of the good guys on this earth. We also have some running commentary between Jimmy and the other Clark Kent that is at the battlefield at this point. Jimmy continuously is telling Clark that, you're part of this story going on. Everyone can see that you're here. And I just find it a little bit interesting that you kind of don't know where this Clark Kent is coming from. He makes indications that he doesn't know what Jimmy's talking about in regards to him being Superman, him having powers. At one point, Jimmy tells him later in the issue, just fly up there and, get involved in the fight. And Clark's kind of like, well, you want me to fly up there? I can't fly, Jimmy. At another point earlier in the issue, he goes into the whole entire, over 2 panels essentially, recaps the entire Truth storyline, the fact that Lois Lane of the New 52 world outed Clark as Superman, and he makes the comment of he had to do what he needed to do to survive. The rest of this issue is pretty much just Superman and Lex Luthor going back and forth between one of them fighting Doomsday and the other one helping the people in Metropolis trying to evacuate the area, kind of switching back and forth. We also get some tidbits of Mr. Oz, who may or may not be Ozymandias from The Watchmen. That is one of the main theories, that's who that character is. I'm not sure if DC's actually specifically said, yes, that is that character. They haven't directly, I don't think, said who any of the Watchmen characters are that we've seen so far. But for right now, we'll just call him Mr. Oz, just to avoid any confusions with viewers who are not sure or have never read Watchmen before. Mr. Oz does make comments in one part of the issue that the pieces are falling into place more quickly, and he's basically kind of observing things to see how they're going to go. We're not sure exactly what he's observing. I mean, he's obviously observing the fight with Doomsday. He's creeping on Lois and Jonathan for whatever reason. Somehow he has surveillance in their home. Towards the end of the issue, when Luthor is fighting Doomsday, Luthor does basically starting to get beat down by Doomsday. He's starting to lose the fight. Doomsday actually starts ripping the armor off of Luthor. At this point, you get back to Mr. Oz, who basically he's saying that Clark needs to figure out what his next move is, so that way he can figure out what move he's going to make. Whether that's going to be revealing himself or not revealing himself, we don't know. That's something that will be discovered hopefully in the next issue. Again, like I said, for the most part, this storyline is just a direct continuation of the last issue. It is a knockout fight with Doomsday, so it's basically just a continuation of the fight. Overall, I did like this issue. There's a lot of things to me that are kind of echoing the original Death of Superman. Obviously, the fight between Superman and Doomsday is the biggest nod to that storyline. Clark and Jimmy kind of being on the ground, taking photos and recording the event, kind of harkens back, I believe, to Lois and Jimmy and the old universe. I also have a few theories I'm kind of working on with in regard to the second Clark Kent that's running around. If you want to leave comments as to what you think this Clark Kent is, let me know, please. Or if you think I'm just completely wrong and an idiot for thinking these things up, let me know that too. I'm always up for some constructive criticism. Kind of wondering, I don't think this Clark Kent is the one that died. I don't think this is the New 52 Superman that has now come back. Although that would be the more obvious answer, just because of the fact that they were having questions, I believe, in the Rebirth special, the Superman Rebirth special, as well as the first issue of this storyline, I believe, where the characters did question whether or not New 52 Superman would come back from the dead the way the old Superman did. But I feel like that would be the obvious answer, so I'm not going with that theory. My other theory is that when this Clark, Lois, and Jonathan showed up here from the Convergence world, went back in time to the original crisis and essentially stopped that crisis from happening. Something may or may not have happened with Clark during that fight that, I don't know if it like split his two personalities and the two selves of him, so that there is a Kryptonian Clark and then a more human Clark that has been hiding in the shadows. I doubt it. That is one theory. The only other theory I have is that since Crisis on Infinite Earths never ended, the worlds were never whatever, that this is the essentially pre-crisis Superman from Earth 1. I know that's a weird, stupid long shot, and both these theories are long shots, but it's just one of the ideas I had today, that somehow we have the post-crisis Superman who technically shouldn't exist anymore. So I'm wondering if the pre-crisis Earth 1 Superman, maybe that is the Superman that's here, or any of the Superman from then as well. Why they wouldn't have their powers, I don't know. And why it is Clark Kent doesn't seemingly have his powers, that's up for grabs. Anyone can figure that out. But Those are the kind of two things I'm working on right now. Like I say, three essential theories. One, that it's a resurrected, powerless New 52 Superman, that it is somehow a cloned or copied version of the post-crisis Superman, or that it is somehow a pre-crisis Earth 1 or something other Superman. Again, very far-fetched comments. Even as I'm saying them out loud, I'm like, I really don't. Maybe that isn't it. But yeah, it's just fans have theories. Let me know yours in the comments. But I am very interested to see what's going to happen here with this. So let me know what you guys think of this issue down in the comments. Did you like any of the parallels between this and the original Death of Superman storyline? What are your theories? Once again, what are your theories on who this new Clark Kent is? Do you think any of these characters are going to die? I'm pretty sure the Clark Kent imposter, the second Clark Kent, I feel like he's going to die sometime during the storyline, but I think it's going to be out of the public eye, so that way Superman can resume the Clark Kent identity now that we're establishing that they are two different people. So, again, that's my theory. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a like somewhere down here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Do post new reviews on DC and Marvel weekly, so always have something new on the channel. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next review. Later.